Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the best hour on a Monday ever. See what I did there, Mick? Hour. It's not going to be an hour. It's going to be whatever it's going to be, people. It's all depending on you. So, welcome to our Monday night live stream. If you're new around here, we do this every Monday, 8 o'clock, and we get to hang out and talk about stuff. So, get in the questions, get in the comments, and load that up. The first piece of business that we need to take care of, and it's the most important thing to do today, is to wish Speedgoat happy birthday. It's Speedgoat's birthday today, so we need to make sure that we wish Speedgoat a very, very happy birthday. That's very important. I also want to give a shout out to my main guy, Hayden. Wish you better, brother. But yes, so this week I don't really know what's going on. I'm in a bit of a marathon mental fuzz, let's call it. Did a 20-mile race yesterday, and that video will come out in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, I'm in that sort of getting serious point of the marathon training. So 50-mile week last week, 50-mile week this week. And then I've got basically, I think, the Brighton Marathon coming up pretty soon, which is a little bit annoying. But on the plus side, I did get some nice bits and bobs from Brooks, which I stuck on socials. So that was kind of nice. I got a nice care package from the guys at Brooks, which is pretty awesome. So that was nice. In terms of videos this week, tomorrow, I think we've got a video that should have come out some time ago. But on Thursday, I've got two videos I want to talk about. That really good ones, actually. First one is on Thursday, which is like best race shoes currently. And that's about shoes that I've actually worn in races. So that's a good one. So watch out for that on Thursday. Also, if you're doing the London Marathon, I think it's probably my most not inclusive. It's the most expansive, detailed, helpful London Marathon video that I've done. We have got outside of this video, we have got the London Marathon route that I've done. It's on my Instagram. Go over to Instagram, FORDY_runs. And if you're worried about the route, but it's a real sort of, and that's a good video as well. But the one that's coming out the weekend is a real sort of, it's a good one. If you're doing your first London Marathon, if you know anyone who's running London Marathon for the first time, share that video with them. There's some other links on the description as well to like the 20-mile podcast. If you've not listened to that, there's a 20-mile podcast that I did. It's like a 20-minute motivational kick up the arse for 20 miles. Make sure you add that to your playlist. But there's some other bits. So yeah, if you're doing the London Marathon, watch out for that video on Saturday. We're kind of moving slowly towards that. So please share that if you can. That'd be super appreciated if you could. To anybody you know who's doing London, so that's coming out at the weekend. But yeah, Thursdays is a good video as well. So watch out for that one. I've also done a budget version of that now, so check out that one. That'll come out the following week. So there's a couple of good videos coming your way on the channel. In terms of shoes, we've got some stuff that we can't talk about. We've also got some stuff that we can. We've got the Cumulus, get some miles in them. I've got a shoe that I'm not going to tell you about. I could tell you about it. It's not under embargo, but I don't want to tell you about it. But I'm loving life in it. You'll have to wait for that video to drop. But I just love it. And I'm not going to tell you what it is deliberately. It's just brilliant. It's so good. What else? Shoes wise, there's some stuff I can't tell you about. Aero Glide 3, Torin 8. I think they're the shoes I can tell you about. But as I said, there is one shoe that I'm not going to tell you about, but I'm just loving it, just absolutely loving it. So yes, I think that's it in terms of videos. Weekly vlog. We've got some behind the scenes video this weekend coming your way on how we review running shoes. So we'll watch out for that one. We've also filmed another weekly vlog about sort of how you can how I work full time and marathon train. I thought that'd be useful. So that's coming your way soon as well. So yeah, there's plenty of content coming your way. I might after London, I might cut back on the amount of videos that are going out because it's a lot of work. Trying to improve if I can the quality marginally. So putting a little bit more time into them than sort of putting more out. But we'll see. I'll be led by your feedback on that one. So yeah, let me know. I think that's it. I think you're up to speed. So that's kind of what's going on there. Don't forget, we've got the Shakeout Run at Brighton, at the Park Run on Saturday, Preston Park Run, not this Saturday, but Preston Park Run on the weekend of the Brighton Marathon. That's confirmed. I'll be there. I'm also doing a Friday lights night thing on this Friday evening as well down in Brighton if I get down there on time. So if you're around for that. I'm going up to Leeds. We're doing the Wakefield Park Run at Leeds for the Leeds Marathon weekend. I'm up there for that. There's a few other bits coming that we're organising slowly but surely. So make sure you keep an eye on all that sort of stuff. I think that's it. So all I want you to do now is go into the questions and comments and add your questions and comments in the chat. If you're listening to this as a podcast, thanks very much for taking us out on your run with you. Please, again, leave a nice positive review. Tell everybody about the podcast. Okay, well, I think that's it. Have I done everything? Oh, one interesting thing. This, and I've mentioned it in this video, and it seems to have caught your imagination actually, because I was talking about it the other day, and I didn't realise how much actually it's caught on. If you've not if you weren't aware, if you become a 40 Runs affiliated England Athletics affiliated runner, which will cost you about 20 quid. I think it's going up to 21 quid, but I might be wrong. So if you go over 40runs.com and it's like under running club, but if you join as an affiliated running club member of 40 Runs, yeah, for 20 quid, 21 quid, which miles cheaper than England Athletics themselves. But if you join that, you'll get a URN, which is like your membership number. You can then take that and you can go over to sportshoes.com and get 15% off their shoes, 15. So it's worth paying the 20 odd quid to join 40 Runs Running Club as an affiliated running club member. And then you're going to, even on the first pair you buy, you're going to get that money effectively back that you've saved. So it's worth doing. Okay. So that's something I mentioned it in a Nike video. And ever since then, it's sort of gaining momentum. So, again, just to be clear on that, 40 Runs Running Club is free to join, but we do have an option where you can become affiliated to England Athletics. It's about 20 quid. It's miles cheaper than actually joining straight with England Athletics. It's discounted. And if you take that out, you can then, once you've joined, get a URN, you can then put that into a sportshoes.com account. You're going to get 15%, 15% off of their shoes. So stuff like Nike, New Balance, which are really expensive usually, you're going to be getting money off. So it's worth noting, and it seems to have caught your guys' attention. I didn't realise that it had so much until I had a chat about it. So interesting, isn't it? Right, so I'm just going to say good evening to everybody. Thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. Again, hopefully it'll be an insightful show tonight, but maybe a little bit shorter because I think we're all kind of busy at the moment with marathon training stuff. And half marathon training is all coming out of stick and fast. So good evening, everybody. Happy birthday, Speedgoat. Yep, it's Speedgoat's birthday. Thank you, Gary. Hi, everyone. Okay. There we go. What's this one? And again, if you want to put questions in about coaching stuff or shoe questions, I'm happy. I'm here to take it all. So just let me know and I'll work my way through them. So first question of tonight. Life of a London cabbie. Evening forwarded, happy birthday, Speaker. What is your advisable amount of weeks to train for a half marathon? I usually tend to put people into like a 12-week plan. It's pretty basic, standard sort of stuff. But it does very much depend on the run. If they're coming from nothing, then we'll extend that out. But as a kind of rule of thumb, I tend to use 12 weeks. If it's somebody who's maybe fit, we might go to 8. When I say fit, I mean like race ready. So we'll see. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, about 12 weeks is a good gauge when you add in a bit of a taper and stuff like that, and a week or two to get you up and running. Okay. Mike Smith, what's the most comfy carbon plate marathon shoe in your opinion? I would say probably the New Balance SC Elite version 4, which is a shoe that you can get, like I said, using that code if you join as an affiliated club member. That's a good example. That's like a 200 quid, 280 quid or 260 pound shoe. And I think they're discounted it down to like 170, 180 quid. You then whack on the code that you'd get from being a 40 Runs affiliated club member. You're getting into bargain territory. So, yeah, I would say the SC Elite version 4 is a good shout. Any advice to run the virtual London Marathon? I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised they're still doing this virtual London Marathon thing. It's a bit surprising they're still going with that and kicking that old dead horse. Really, I mean, it's great if it gives people the opportunity to do a virtual race, and maybe they couldn't normally, can't get to London and stuff like to do the marathon and things like that. But I don't know. I'm surprised they're still doing it. I'm surprised that's still a thing. Again, I appreciate some people really like the virtual stuff. I know somebody was like doing the Lord of the Rings thing and all this kind of stuff, and that's pretty awesome actually. And they're cool. They're good ways to get motivated. But I didn't realise that the London Marathon are still doing that. But yeah, each their own. I'm just gonna have a sip of tea. I've eaten far too much today. I've got to stop eating so much. I did that 20 mile yesterday, that 20 mile race, and basically I just feel like I'm eating today and yesterday like I've done a marathon and I haven't. It's pathetic. Rob saying, cheers. He'll look out for the London Marathon video. Yes, if you missed the start of the show, at the end of this week, we've got a big London Marathon sort of tips and tricks video coming out. It's really important to share that with people. Really is. It's gold dust that's on there. Honestly, it's brilliant. Remember, I've run the London Marathon a few times. You can't see it. You can up there is all my London Marathon medals. And it's stuff I've learned, and it will really help people. So make sure you share that. Okay, Mike Smith, is the Adidas Pro a more cushioned ride compared to the Boston 12s? I found the Boston's firm. Adidas Pro, what? Adidas Pro 4, Pro 3, because definitely not the Pro 2. The Pro 2 is really firm. The Boston is a firm ride. The Light Strike Pro is firmer than some of the other super trainers, that are out there, definitely. The new compound that's in the Adidas Pro 4 is like just totally different, like on another like stratosphere different compared to what's in the Boston shoes. We've got more Light Strike Pro in Boston 13, so I'm expecting a slightly softer ride, but not overly soft. That's one of the things I actually like about Light Strike Pro. But I don't know which one you're talking about. So let me know. Oh, Matt Nash is in the house. Matt Nash questions, early doors. This means there's not many of you in the chats and giving questions and comments tonight. So it might be a quick show, people, unless you start loading me up. So Matt Nash. Good evening, Matt. Thanks very much, brother, for hanging out with us tonight. Evening 40. How have the apps and AI changed running coaching? In your opinion, have they had an impact on in-person coaches like yourself? Great question again, Matt. So how has technology and app-based stuff impacted coaches? I think there's two sort of ways to go. I think firstly, when like Runner and all this sort of stuff come out, there was obviously, I would say, a marginal impact on sort of traditional coaches, which I am. So again, if you're listening to this the first time, I'm a qualified running and athletics coach. Okay, there is a difference. I'm qualified both with a specialization in endurance. Okay. So the different. So yes, there was. Firstly, people were like, "Oh, well, that's cheaper. I'm going to go there. I've got it all on my phone." Blah 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 blah. And that makes sense. That made a lot of sense to me. But what we've come to do as coaches, or as coaches, I've adapted technology into my coaching. So before, where it was very much a traditional model of the old like sort of stick on your fridge training plans and things like that, and even the in-person stuff. I mean, when I did my coaching patches, it was all taught in person. Not a virtual classroom or anything like that. So it has changed in that respect, but I've implemented successfully, I would say, technology into my coaching, my clients, and the feedback I get is very positive about that. I would say, I think if you listen to the coaching podcast we did, you'll get their honest opinions on that. But yeah, I think it definitely changed, shifted the landscape a little bit. I think it also showed the benefit of having a coach versus an app, if that's something you can afford, because of the knowledge and the experience. Now that it's sometimes people get confused with coaches that they go, "Oh, this geezer runs 2:20 marathon. He's going to be a brilliant coach." Look at Paula Radcliffe's coach. Yeah, so it's not necessarily the coach's running ability that would dictate how they are as good as a coach. So I would say that with a pinch of salt because I've come across that, and I think people also look to people who run certain times and go, "Oh yeah, that's a good coach for me." No, it should be on based on their methods and whether that makes sense and fits into you and how you work as a human being and what will get the best out of you. Also, but there's plenty of technology there that I think coaches now have at their disposal. And as someone who does use technology to benefit myself and my runners, I found it really useful. And I don't think that would have come on board as quickly as it had without Runner and the other apps being developed. So that's a positive. I would say. So yeah, I think AI. I don't use AI in like writing stuff and all that kind of thing, but we use AI in terms of like we actually use an algorithm to dictate certain sort of uh, scorings and references that we use. But ultimately, me as a coach, I override or will override it or not override it depending on the runner, and that's where my experience and my understanding of my runners comes in versus what you'd necessarily get on an app. And again, some of these apps are a bit naughty because they say they're basing stuff on a 5K time, not asking you about you as a runner and trying to understand your life and how you work. Are you working shifts? Are you somebody, who's got a busy life and all this sort of stuff? You can't adapt it. But they do provide a good thing for certain sort of runner. I think that's a positive thing. I don't know if I answered the question, Matt, or not. I think so. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. But let me know if you're interested in coaching. Give me a shout. Hello at FORDYRUNS.com, and we can. But yeah, we use technology more and more, and I think that's a good thing. But you can't get away from the old school element of a conversation, looking you in the eyes and going, "You need to do this." And I coach. I group coach as well still. And there's nothing more than I like. And then in the sort of lighter evenings where we can get all the equipment out and we can work on stuff. It's brilliant. Going proper old school. Again, that's the way I was taught. I was taught in person, physically. It is worth checking with if you're thinking about getting a running coach, what their qualifications actually are. There's a lot of people out there who are claiming to be running coaches, and they're not really. They're not really got the experience or done the badges to a certain standard. So it's always worth checking. All right. Always worth checking. So if somebody says to you that they're a run lead, as they're a LERF, and that's the England Athletics, they're a run leader, they're not a coach. So I know there's a couple of, like, let's say, famous people who say they're a coach and they're actually just run leaders. There's a big difference. So just be careful who you're giving your money to, is what I would say. Okay, next question. Again, if you're joining us late, get your questions, get your comments in. What advice is from Natty? What advice would you have for fueling for a marathon when your breakfast is booked for 7:30 a.m. and you could possibly start at 11:30? I would look to something. I tell you what, there was a really good post. What's her name? She done a brilliant post about this when I was doing the New York Marathon. She's a nutritionist. I'm not a nutritionist, which kind of goes back to what I was talking about, actually, about getting people who know what they're talking about. Look up, Natalie, Featherstone Nutrition on Instagram. Featherstone Nutrition. She did a brilliant post about around the New York Marathon time when I did it a couple of years ago about fueling for races that are starting later. And in New York, we had to like get a bus at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So there's no chance to have your usual routine. So I was having to fuel like through the morning with bits of bobs. So I think I had some, was it croissants or pretzels or something like that. So find something that you can sort of top up with a couple of hours to spare, is what I would say. Practice it now though. Yeah, that's really important. But yeah, so but check out I can't remember her name, but Featherstone Nutrition. She's got some brilliant stuff on there. about that nutrition side of things. But for me, I would say to you, practice, find something that will give you what you need in terms of you and your metabolism and you as a human being, because we're all different. But you do need to put something in, but have a look at it. All right. But I think you'll find that useful, Natalie. Okay, Lewis, I'm a bit of a vanilla running shoe fella. Kind of only ran in Brooks Launch GTS Hero. They've since been discontinued. What would be a better replacement? GT 2013s. Have you thought of the Puma Forever Run? Lewis, just putting it out there. It's mild stability, which both of those shoes are, GT 2013. And also, Lewis, have you recently had your gait analysed? Bit of a suggestion. But I would look at maybe something like the Puma Forever Run. It's a mild stability shoe, which both those other two are. And I really rate that. I've not tried the 860, by the way, V14. GT 2000 is a solid shoe. Very solid shoe. Massively improved over the years. But I would say if you can cope with it, I don't know what level of stability you need, but I would probably revisit your gait analysis and go from there. Let me know. Gary's agreeing with my comments on the affiliation. There we go. So again, if you're coming in late, get yourself signed up to FORDYRUNS.com. Get yourself affiliated with us. We're cheaper than EA. And then you can get 15% off at sports shoes. And you get loads of shoes really cheap. Which is basically the only reason to do it. Okay. Hey, Chris, I've got a Salomon hydration vest. Me too. How can I get rid of the awful plastic taste on the bite valves? I don't have the bladders because of that reason. There's somebody said about soaking them in some stuff, but I'll be honest with you, I used it I think once and I had that and then I threw it because I couldn't handle it. That's me being really honest. I just couldn't handle it. So I don't think I could add any value there. I don't do all those plastic tubes and hydration vests. When you spend 4 hours with Speedgoat and his hydration vest just basically sloshing about, I've checked out with them. I can't handle them anymore. But sorry, there's plenty of stuff that you can buy and soak them in and things like that. But I am the worst person to ask because I don't particularly care for them. Gary, top 3 marathon training shoes for 2025. Last year it was Adidas Pro 3, Boston 12 SL2. Top 3 marathon training shoes for 2025. Ooh, Super Blast. Super Blast, Super Blast, and Super Blast. Is that all right, Gary? Yeah, Super Blast is definitely in that mix. I really like the Puma Forever Run. I think the Vomero's a good shout. SC Trainer's got to be in there for me. Still absolutely like rinsing them when I can, and I've got the chance to do it. So there's some good options there straight away without thinking too hard, really. Yeah, so there you go. There's some suggestions for you. But that is something that I will do a video about later in the year. Once we've got these marathon training blocks done, then we'll do something like that. We'll do a bit of a retrospective. I'm just going to finish my tea, everybody. Get your comments and questions in the chat box while I finish my tea. Okay. Right. John is feeling like the odd one out, starting a 12-week 10K block again. I think that's a brilliant thing to do. He was out injured for about 8 months, has been building base for about 5 months. Any suggestions for workouts? Yeah, oh my God, where do you start? There's so many, John, honestly. One of my favorites that I've got my clients do at the moment is the Norwegian one. So have a look at that. Google that. That's a good one to do. The Norwegian 400s. Try that one. But there's some really good ones. There's so much free resource out there at the moment, John. In general, again, a lot of it I would say also depends. I find it quite hard for clients when I'm writing plans because in an ideal world, everyone would be doing your speed sessions on the track. But you've got to be realistic that most road runners, everyday runners, are hitting the pavement. So you've got to try and find sessions that work on the road. Do you know what I mean? So this is where I get a bit bemused where I see people going, oh, if you do 8 by 600 by 200 by 300 by 400 by 700, and that's great. And you're going to beat your PB, your 5K PB by 13 seconds. What a hero. But that's great if you could go to a track 3 times a week. But most people, everyday runners, have got like 9 to 5 jobs, maybe shifts, and they're just struggling to get out and get a tempo session done. So it's better to go back to basics with stuff. Does that make sense? You can't beat, the old-fashioned literally run to the end of the road as fast as you can, as hard as you can, and do that 6 times with a 30-second recovery. Like, literally, like, as basic as that. It's all about perceived effort rather than the actual technical session. Yeah, the sessions are built. We build the sessions to max out certain elements of what we're looking to. But really, they really only work best on a track in a controlled environment. You can go to like an industrial estate and try and do them. But yeah, I would definitely go back to basics. But yeah, honestly, there's so much resource out there. Free resource, have a look, brother. But if you want, drop me an email. I'm happy to send some stuff over. But yeah, good shout for going for the 10K, mate. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, actually. Good shout. Roy McElroy won today. Which carbon plate shoe would you recommend for long runs over 30 kilometers? I'm trying to find the perfect stability versus carbon bounce shoe. Training runs, 30 kilometers. I absolutely love the SC Trainer. I've done plenty of videos on that one. That's a good shoe. But if you don't want carbon, which, it's not a bad thing, then I would go for the Super Blast 2. Yeah. Janet would love a running coach, but my brain only works in kilometers. Oh, behave yourself, Janet. Are your plans feedback chat all in miles? No. What do you think I am, stupid? It's a silly question, Janet. You're going to get told off. Of course we work in kilometers. Why would we not work in kilometers? Just because I talk in miles. Janet, you're going to get told off next time I see you. So yes, just to be clear, I work in miles and kilometers for my clients. Imagine that, though. Imagine that would actually be quite funny, Janet. If you had a running coach who only looked after clients that worked in miles or kilometers, one or the other, that would actually be quite funny. Be quite niche. Imagine. How important is running case? It is important. It is important. Yeah, definitely, Joe. Do some work on it. 100%. Yeah, definitely aiming to increase it. There's again, like I said to John, go online, right? This is the thing. It's so easy. Just type in, how do I increase what workouts to increase my cadence? And there'll be some stuff on there. I mean, again, they're the sort of things I like coaching on a when we do the group stuff, because then you can get like the little mini hurdles out. You can get the stuff on the floor, and we can start really geeking out in terms of cadence and things like that. I think if I remember right, we did a lot of work with that last year. It was quite good, a lot of fun. But yeah, looking at lengthening and shortening your stride over like intervals and things like that. It's great fun. Great fun. But yeah, definitely work on that. 100%. Robert, do you have any shoes you would recommend for short distance? 5, 10K. I have a triathlon coming up in May, so I need something where easy to get on. Or yeah, okay. Start fitness challenge. I like it. Should we do a start fitness challenge? Does anyone? I'm looking at a pair of shoes, Robert, that I don't want to talk to you about. But when the video comes out, I can tell you when the video comes out. How about that? Is that a fair trade? Because it's a shoe for you. And actually, I'm going to be wearing them for a triathlon as well. Can you wait till April the 3rd? Question. All right. Look, at the end of the day, the shoe video that we've got coming out on Thursday will cover some of that. So if you missed out at the front of the show, we've got like the best race shoes for each distance. And then we've got a follow-up budget version. So check that out. But then we do cover the 5 and 10K in there. The budget one, actually, Robert, does cover Start Fitness. So there's some shoes in there from Start Fitness for the 5 and 10K. So that's probably worth waiting for, actually, to be fair. There is one, to say Thursday, and then there's the follow-up next week. The budget one's the following week on Start Fitness. Again, if you're new around here, you can use the code 40 runs to Start Fitness. You're going to get a discount. Mark, any evening 40, any update on the Throw 4 since Blissgate? No, not really. I need to do more in them. It's annoyingly, if I had a half marathon this weekend, I'd wear them. But I may do a half marathon, not this weekend, the following weekend. I may go and sign up for a half marathon somewhere. Although, is that a stupid thing to do ahead of Brighton? And if I put the Pro 4s on, they give me a problem. Probably is a stupid thing to do. But yeah, not sure. But no update, official update. Scott got a 28-minute PB on the Adidas Pro 4s at the Great Welsh Marathon yesterday. Well done, Scott. I'm glad they work for you. I was just talking to a client, actually, and they work for him. Size is bang on, Adidas Pro 4. So that's great news. If you didn't know, maybe you're new around here. If you are new around here, we're here every Monday night, 8 o'clock. Bring a friend next week. But yeah, he was telling me that he absolutely smashed them or has been smashing them. They fit perfectly for him. So I think if they work for you, then you're going to absolutely fly. I'm just gutted, genuinely gutted. I've got that issue, and I can't risk it. Oh, wish I had that tea. Sorry if you heard me, but okay. Hi, Chris. What are your top 3 things in your opinion that I should focus on to improve my 10K pace, please? 8-week block. Gym, and gym. Not gym the person, strength work, cross training, plyometric. Get on it. The more stuff you do in the gym, the stronger you are as a human being, that will fall. Okay, Fiona? Hopefully I made my point nice and clear there. You need to get strong. Yeah, that's the key. It really is. Don't forget 3 things. Just focus on one and get strong. Get seriously strong. Okay. Okay, Gary's coming back. I was just saying recently how much good free info available. Okay, I don't know what we're talking about, but maybe that's, I don't know what. But thanks very much, everyone. Again, get your questions, get your comments in, and I'll get them answered. Thanks, everybody who's joined us tonight. Make sure you come along next weekend and bring a friend. Hi, Chris. I have the Saucony Tempest, which I love. What would you say would be a good race day shoe for a heavier person? Bit dubious about plated shoes, except possibly the Kinvara Pro. Yeah, I think the Kinvara Pro, if you can get it, is a really good shout. Pagey, who I run with on a Wednesday, I don't know if you've seen him on my Instagram at 40_runs. He's a tall dude. I think he might kill me. But I swear he said to me he's 15, 16 stone, which is, hang on. I'll do it in kg, so anybody, that's just over 100 kilograms. Let's do it in pounds. So everybody's covered, 224 pounds. And he ran the Manchester Marathon in the Kinvara Pro and really got on well with them. He was actually wearing them yesterday on his 20-mile race that he did. So Kinvara Pro, don't touch the Endorphin Trainer, which is the new version of it. That thing's mentally unstable. Probably shouldn't say that, actually. But anyway, it's not very nice. But if you can get the Kinvara Pro, I would really, really recommend it. The other one that Paige enjoys is the New Balance SC Elite version 4 as well. He's also running them. And so he's a bigger dude. So that's worth checking out. All right. Okay, John, thanks for the 10K. I was using Cooper at the moment, but thinking of a more personal approach after the year subscription is over. Yeah, go for it, mate. Or give me a shout. John, give me a shout. Appreciate its cost, though, isn't it? Mick, I hope you're well. Did my first sub 21-minute park run Saturday. Well done. I'm well happy. It's taken me ages to do it. Well done, Mick. Working hard. What shoes were you in? Robert's happy to wait for my video about my 5K, 10K shoes that are coming out. That's on Thursday if you missed that. Gary, good evening, sir. For a first marathon with a target of finish, should we stick to a good shoe we have trained in? Yes. Yes. Or he's saying, should we consider the faster super shoes? No. Oh, who was I talking to? I was talking to a client No, it wasn't a climb. Was it? I can't remember. But we was talking about shoes, and basically it was like, right, I just want to finish this marathon. What should I do? I was like, well, wear them, and then wear them for the race. It's, in a marathon training block, ideally, if you can afford it, you get like 2 shoes to rotate through if you're doing your first one in an ideal world, and just wear the one that you've been wearing on your long runs. So that's what I would do, Gary. Just focus on getting it done. Wear the shoe that's most comfortable. Wear the shoe you've done your mileage in. Wear the shoe you've done those 20 miles, 80 miles in, or 32 kilometers if you're Janet, and and get those shoes and use them, and then worry about shoes and stuff like that after that. Is there? Yes, there is. You'll probably see them on the feet of some influencers and some other people at the London Marathon, as a guess. But that is only a guess. You might have to wait a little bit longer. Depends on where they are. Thanks for the honesty. This is Rich. On my hypothetical question on work-life run balance. If you won the lottery, quick worker could train and recover like a pro. How fast do you think you could go? Sub 3? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would say my biggest constraint for me is time. And you'll see, I did that video about working full time. As I've said a million times, I work, full time in the day. I've got coaching, I do, I've got 40 runs, I do the content creation, I do all the other bits. It's adding up probably over 70 hours a day at the moment, which is just nuts. Working weekends, and things like that as well. It's a lot. So if I didn't have the 9 to 5, let's say, that would free me up a lot. And yeah, I would then train seriously. My mileage, my volume would go up, which ultimately, as long as it's consistent, it's a nice slow step up. Then I think my times would come down naturally, and then I'd get more time in the gym, get more time to do mobility work and cross train and all that sort of stuff. So it'd be self fulfilling. So 100%. So the best answer, Rich, to that is really if you subscribe, and then you tell all your mates to subscribe, and they tell all their mates to subscribe, and they tell all their mates to subscribe, then what will happen is we'll get to like 100,000, 150,000 subscribers real quick. And then I could go full time. I'll leave that with you, Rich. Steve, hi, Chris from Adelaide. How cool is that? That's awesome, Steve. I coach a client who's out in Oz. Actually, big shout out to Matthew, who's got his first half marathon coming up, which is pretty cool. Okay. Sarah. I ran Chicago Marathon in October, taking a few months off to rest. Good for you. What should I be focusing on now before I start training for Berlin in the summer? I would say gently take your mileage up, Sarah. Get yourself to a position where you're nice and consistent in your running in the week. I would work on getting into the gym, getting strength work done. But I would look at building some consistency. It's surprising how quickly these plans are going to be starting Berlin, Chicago. So I would now be putting in the early stages of a pre-plan. Give me a shout. Again, I can help you with a personalized training plan. I can help you on a one-to-one basis. But yeah, I'd be looking at building you something nice and consistent that you can manage at the moment. That's not going to overload you mentally. We'll get you into a nice workflow. Start chucking a little bit of speed in there, but we do need to build the distance a little bit, but with no stress. With no stress about you've got to get 80 miles with like so and so pace in it. Blah, blah, blah. Now we'd look to nicely gently take you up in terms of mileage with a few step back weeks and things like that. But name of the game is to put some structure in place and get some consistency going now before the hard work starts. But I say, give me a shout. Mick was in the Met Speak Paris. What a hero. Any tips on how to protect your toes? Make sure your shoes fit. Cut your toenails. Dennis is worried about taking electrolytes at Manchester. I don't want to take a running vest and bladder with me. What would you recommend as an alternative to soft flask? Dennis, we've done some stuff on this. Hang on, stay there. I'm going to show you what you're going to need, Dennis. Right, Dennis, are you ready? Dennis, can you see that on the screen? You need to be getting these off Amazon. And I'm holding up for anybody on the podcast a pack of Salt Stick Electrolyte Fast Chews. This is what you need to buy. Okay. This is basically sodium and magnesium. And they're chewable electrolytes. You need to get these now because you need to practice before the big day. Okay. And then there's like a little foil. So get a couple of packets. And then you can fold them up, put them in your shorts, and then you can take them also with you on race day. But practice with them now. Okay. So don't worry about the electrolytes, the stuff that's available on course. Get these. These are proven to work. And again, go over Amazon and get them. I'm not interested in getting commission or any affiliate links or any like that. I know these work. I take these myself. So get involved. Okay. Lee Jackson. Right, here we go. A Sheffield half at the weekend with a 10K warm up. Different shoes to start. What's that? Sheffield half at the weekend with a 10K warm up. Different shoes to start. Oh, you're should you wear different shoes to warm up in? I mean, you can do. Yeah, why not? Up to you. You can do if you want. It's entirely up to you. Gary's asking, will I be beat shotting for London? I'm not going to try and run a time or anything in London, so I probably won't try it. If you didn't see a couple of years ago, I took beat it shots. I didn't tell anybody that I was doing it because I didn't want it to come over as like I was getting paid or anything like that, and I wasn't. I got them off of Amazon and I tried them, and whether it made a difference, I don't know. But I PB'd in London, so yeah. I mean, I will use them for Chicago, but I don't know whether I'll use them for London because I'm not trying to run a time in Brighton or London, so I probably won't bother because it's not the greatest in terms of your tummy for me. What it does to my tummy, so and I don't really care for the taste or anything like that. So I'll probably not, but I will for Chicago. Lisa, not sure if you saw my message at the start about the New Balance 1080 version 14. I didn't for a marathon. My Kinvara Pro didn't work out on my 20 mile, so having a slight trainer panic 3 weeks out from Brighton. Yeah, if your trainers aren't working, go back to what you've run your mileage in. Wherever you've done the distancing, wherever you've done those long runs, if your race day shoe has an epic fail like mine did when I put the Pro 4 into play at the Chelmsford half, my absolute default would be go back to like a Super Blast 2 to run a marathon. That's what I would do. So that's what I would suggest you do. Go back to that. All right. Okay. Next question. Steve, for me, running is 90% mental, 10% physical. Yeah, I tend to agree. At the moment, my mental side is really holding me back. Any suggestions to keep the brain enthusiastic, engaged, and happy for some pain? Yeah, I think you've got to have a clear strategy before you start, before you get on the start line. You've got to know what you're going to do. Yesterday, for example, I knew that I was going to run super easy till 10 miles. I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew the plan. And then at 10 miles, I was going to step on it. And then I was trying to build my pace through. And I knew that at some point, I'm going to have to get on the pain train. And then at that point, I had a conversation with myself that you need to be able to push on here because you need to run the marathon at this pace. So you've got to just cowboy up and deal with it. And I knew that was coming, and I accepted that before I started the race. So that's the way to do it. In terms of, I spoke about this on Friday's show, and again, we're live this Friday. In terms of working through the mental side of things when running, using the techniques, picking 5 things, that distraction technique, picking 5 things around you. And I speak about it on the motivation podcast that we did for the 20 miles. It's on there, but like, look for 5 things around you, count them off, whether it's the geezer next to you, what shoes he's wearing, what vest he's wearing, color of his hair, how's his breathing, those sort of things. Then, try and pick out 5 sounds, 5 smells, and work through that routine of trying to distract yourself to what we call grounding. and ground yourself in that moment. They're really key things to do and key things that can give you mental strength during the race. And they're the sort of things that we work on. And again, that's stuff I've learned, stuff I tell my clients. Gary, what is your best advice to manage pre-race nerves for a first-time marathoner? Yeah, Gary, I think as somebody who started what became the largest running club in the country, based around the fact of my pre-race nerves, I would say find people and they're going and try and meet up with them. That's key, I would say. I don't know if you're part of 40 Runs, Gary, or not, but we've got 50 local running groups all over the country. We've got a global run crew, which is just like a community that's buzzing. And these guys are now meeting up at races and events, park run and things like that. Find a community, find a tribe that works for you. And then, hopefully without that, you'll find somebody there who you know. So I'm going with Ben on London. I've got Speak up there at Brighton. I've always got somebody with me, and that tends to settle me down in terms of pre-race nerves. If you haven't got the luxury, then obviously listen to music and distraction techniques similar to what I just spoke about will always help you on the day. Right, team, I think that's it. Thanks to everybody for joining me tonight. Again, I'm back here next Monday, but I'm also live on Friday with the team, so make sure you join us for that. Keep coming back. Don't forget to tell everybody, because we need to, what did I say to Rich's question, to get 100, 150,000 so I go full time. Leave that with you. But yes, I shall see you on Friday. Have a great week, guys. Again, thanks to everybody for tuning in. And remember to share the London Marathon video that's coming out, okay? Really, really, really important to share that one. All right, I'll catch you guys later.